was a mixed fortune for Nigeria in the face of armed banditry in some states. In Zamfara State, a military fighter jet foiled an attempt by bandits to kidnap 16 persons traveling along the Magami Tofa highway. But in Niger State, it was a sad story as bandits abducted the State Commissioner for Information, Mohammed Sani Idris, from his home. In Kaduna State, 5 persons were killed in separate attacks by gunmen in Zankukataf local government area of the state. Babaji, let's talk about this, the fighter jets that foiled an attempt by bandits to kidnap 16 persons in Zamfara State. How did that go?
Yes, you see, the Guzau highway, the Sokoto Guzau highway, the Fontua Guzau road have been under attack by bandits for some time. They're constantly picking people up on the road. Remember the case of the House of Assembly member from Zamfara that was killed, was traveling along one of those roads. Now, you can't be sure that you get to your destination. Either you are leaving Guzau for Sokoto or leaving Sokoto
to Zamfara.
Yes, to Guzau. That highway, they've targeted that highway, and there's a forest along that road that they easily drag people into once they've committed their atrocity. So the Alpha Jet was patrolling the area. It's like maybe after an operation it was cycling over the area when it spotted these people. And it didn't use its weapons because it would have killed many people, but it sufficiently frightened them.
Okay, but panicking to the
yes, frighten them because once they see an aircraft overhead, they know that there's trouble. So the aircraft was able to frighten them, and then they ran away. Then the people were able to move into their vehicles that had been abandoned. The vehicles were empty, you know, so they were able to secure the release of those guys, and they left the scene. So this is the thing. We need, even for our reconnaissance aircraft, to be patrolling that area, because it appears they've left the Kaduna Abuja highway now. This is what they do. Once they attack an area for so long and people, they report, prompt the military to secure the area, they will go to somewhere else. So right now, the Guzau Sokoto highway, they've been kidnapping people. Even during the Salah, some people were going home and some who are coming back from home were kidnapped by these people. So we need our reconnaissance aircraft to constantly cycle over that area, and once any threat is discovered, they can send maybe the Mi-35P, the ground attack helicopter, which they fear so much because it does significant damage. So they can then send it to go and serve them justice so that they can keep a date with their maker.
No. In Niger, it seems these bandits, they've gone AWOL for a whole commissioner to be abducted. That's like a big payday for these bandits.
Inside this house.
I think the challenge we have now, especially in Niger, is the fact that, like Gide said a couple of weeks ago, that the bandits in Niger seems to be made of a different hue. They've taken up the duty to fight the government at its own turf. And you know how big Niger is. So I think what they're going to face now is for the armed forces to double whatever they are doing in Niger State. I see what we can get, because this is an home call. The Commissioner for Information is as high as you can get as far as appointments are concerned in the states. And the man is just a stone throw from the governors of the states. So we have to avert this tragedy based on two realities. One, we commend them for what they are doing in certain parts of the country, but there seems to be Nigeria seems to become the epicenter of banditry in our country that we must now face squarely.
Okay, let me go to Mahmoud Jaga now. Jaga, how do we deal with banditry in the northwest, including your own state, Kebbi State?
Okay. We are all looking for a solution to that terrible problem, because it looks like there are dozens, probably even hundreds of bandit camps that are dotting the highways and the rural areas all over the states of the northwest region and some of the states of the north central region. It really requires a very serious change of strategy and increase in the number of security personnel, increase in the sophistication of the weapons available to security personnel, deployment of technological tools such as drones and satellites in order to be able to identify the bandit camps and to respond quickly to incidents of attack on highways or on villages, as well as mobilization of local resources such as hunters and traditional institutions, because those ones also have a very good knowledge of the rural environment and the forest, which is the main strength of the bandits, that they seem to have the best knowledge of the bushes where they snatch people and take them to. But we also have hunters and village heads and district heads who also have a good knowledge of that terrain, if only you mobilize them very well. So it's a whole combination of factors that are needed.
So ultimately, when we are looking at this, is not something the government can afford to handle with kid gloves again. It's something that we must go all out, yes, because it's a threat to the.
It's even a bigger threat now from bandits than even Boko Haram, because the death of Shekau has really helped us. We now know that, okay, there's just one faction of Boko Haram left, and their own areas, the areas that those ones control, are well known. The islands of Lake Chad and the popular Timbuktu Triangle, that's Gorigi, areas close to Dambora, all those places. So we can now focus, whereas when Shekau was there, Shekau controlled the Sambisa forest, the Mandara Mountains, right up to Guzau and three communities even in Adamawa State. Now we know that we can face the only group that is left. So, and we are getting results from there, because diseases and even constant bombardment, they are forcing some of them to come out and surrender to our troops. But even after we have defeated Boko Haram, because that will happen by God's grace, but in the case of bandits, they are literally everywhere now. What do we do? It's North Central, they have their presence. North West, they have their presence. So, and these are big, they are present in large numbers. The governor of Zamfara told us that there are up to 30,000 bandits in the state alone. And we have them in Katsina. We have them in Kaduna. You go to Brinikwari, there are so many of them in Brinikwari area. So then go to Niger, there are so many. Don't go Gide and his people.
They've infiltrated the south too.
So yes, and we have them in the south as well. In the southeast and the southwest, we still have them. So even when we nullify the threat that Boko Haram constitutes, we know that we still have to deal with these bandits, and they are a bigger threat because they are many, they are well armed, and they have many camps.
No, the Iswap guys, 605 of them, said to repentant fighters settle her, you know, want to surrender and everything. But a lot of Nigerians are always very skeptical about, you know, this process, that these guys, that after some time, after de-radicalizing them, they might just go back to their default mode.
Yeah, I think we remember the story of the guy that was brought back and ultimately killed his father.
And stole his cattle.
Because they've gone far. It's the same problem they had in Sierra Leone with the kid soldiers. Because somebody who started cleaning at the age of 6, it's not going to change overnight when he sees a gun. It's a trauma that cannot be wished away.
Your way of life.
And they have to go back to it. I think what we need to do, because like you said about technology, I just remember that the former chief of the air staff gave us some video clips of what they did from the air at a point in time when they were attacking camps. I think this is the time to redouble that effort of making sure that, because we have satellites in space, I think Nigeria has about 4 right now in space, our own satellites that we pay for. And this should now be used basically, maybe red, infrared, or whatever. I know you are like, but that's what we pay for.
Yeah, let's leave that one for now.
So what we need to do right now is to isolate those areas and hit them hard. Because these people are not fighting to get anything from heaven. They are fighting to get their money here.
Yes.
And that one is more dangerous than somebody fighting for...
Do you know what one bandit in Katsina told my friend, one of the top people in the government there? He said, the person who wants peace, the bandit who wants peace is a coward.
Yeah.
That's the way he says it, that the coward will never make money. So he was like, is this guy a human being? So the one who comes out for peace
is a coward.
Is a coward. That's the way they see this thing. So he's saying that he's not interested in going to heaven, that is the place for the cowards to go. You can see the way they are thinking. As far as he's concerned, he wants to make his money here.
This is his own heaven here.
Yes, let him make his money here. He's not interested, you know. A lot of them are just, they don't belong to Islam, they don't belong to Christianity. They are animists, you know. That's the way they are.
They don't care.